I bank at a 100-year-old bank. It's probably older than that, but it's a famous American bank. It's not too far away. One of the branches is not too far away from where I am. And I go into the bank, and sometimes a person opens the door for me, and they say, "We'll be right with you." And I say, "Okay." And then I move up in the line, and they say, "Okay, we'll come up." And I go to the teller, and the teller says, "Good day. What can we do for you? And would you like a bottle of water?" If this is your bank, you will know it, okay? And I say no, and then they say, "What can I do for you?" And I tell them, "I'm depositing this, blah, blah, blah." They say, okay, they do it. They ask me again if I want a bottle of water. I say no. And then they say, "Is there anything else?" And I say no, and I leave. And this one time I went in there, and after I went through that whole process, I happened to forget that I wanted to ask them a question, but I had to go through the whole process again. And of course, I went in there, and they said they'll be with me. And I got to the head of the line, and then they called me over, and they asked me what they could do for me, and if I wanted a bottle of water, and I said no. And so I went through this, and then I got my question answered, and I left. And being the curious type, about a half an hour later, I said, "I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it." And I went into the bank, and it went through the same exact thing. And then, but this time, since I didn't really have anything to do, I got a chance to look at the bigger picture. And the bigger picture was that even though the tellers were smiling, they were scared. And they were scared because the person behind them, which reminded me of a pit boss at a casino, that's just my own experience, was making sure they were, I guess, saying the right talking points. But man, I just came out of there feeling, not only feeling bad as a customer, I felt bad for every teller in that place. And so I just left there, and I said, there has to be something to the degree of genuineness. Now, they were trying to give a good customer experience, so I'm not trying to be negative, but they were trying to do it in a systematic, impersonal way. And when I can go in there 3 times and the same exact thing happens, it doesn't even matter. I think if I went in there on my hands, if I could balance like that, the same thing would happen. So that's just my own personal experience, make the experience genuine. The important thing here for this rule is that the level of genuineness is key to advocacy.